Hey there, this is Francesca from Social Work Portal. Welcome to today's session. Have you ever stared at an assessment form, wondering which type of questions to add to get the best picture of your clients? In this video, I'll walk you through the best biopsychosocial assessment questions, separated into each of the 4 domains: biological, psychological, social, and spiritual. By the end, you'll gain a better understanding of the questions to ask in your biopsychosocial assessment and how to structure your form template. And before we close out, I'll also give you a few tips on making your assessments more effective. Okay, so let's get started. Let's do a quick recap on what a mental health biopsychosocial assessment covers. The biopsychosocial assessment is a structured clinical interview that gathers information across 3 core domains: biological, psychological, and social. And in social work, we often add a 4th, which is spiritual. Here's why doing a holistic assessment like this matters. A client presenting with depression might have a genetic vulnerability to mood disorders in the biological domain, a history of trauma and unhelpful thinking patterns in the psychological domain, social isolation and financial instability in the social domain, and a fractured relationship with a faith community that once provided support in the spiritual domain. An assessment that only captures 1 or 2 of these dimensions produces an incomplete picture, but having the full picture helps support a more effective treatment plan and ultimately better client outcomes. Let's jump right to the questions. What types of questions will give you the most helpful and actionable information on your client? We'll start with the biological domain. This covers the whole spectrum of physical health, including medical history, medication, substance use, family history of mental illness, and more. These questions are not about diagnosing medical conditions. That's the physician's job. They're about understanding how physical factors are shaping the client's current functioning and emotional well-being, so that you can address them through referrals or a support plan. So for biological, what is your current biological health status? And do you have any diagnosed medical conditions? 2. Are you currently taking any prescription medications, and what are they for? Have you experienced recent changes in sleep, appetite, or energy levels? Have you used alcohol or substances recently, and if so, how often and in what amounts? Is there a family history of mental illness, substance use, or significant medical conditions? Are there physical health concerns you feel are affecting your emotional well-being? Now, on substance use specifically, tone matters enormously. A matter-of-fact, non-judgmental frame where you're asking about frequency and impact rather than implying judgment tends to get you far more honest responses than a more clinical or formal approach. The psychological domain covers mental health history, previous treatment, current mood, trauma history, safety, coping strategies, and cognitive function. This is often the most sensitive domain to navigate, and building enough rapport before diving into trauma history is important. Don't rush it. Here's 6 questions that work well. Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental health condition? If so, what and when? Have you previously received therapy, mental health treatment, or psychiatric care? How would you describe your current mood most days? Have you experienced traumatic events that still affect you today? Do you have any current thoughts of harming yourself or others? How do you typically cope when you're under significant stress? For the trauma question, a trauma-informed approach means asking with permission and following the client's pace. Here's an example. Many people I work with have had difficult or painful experiences in their past. Is that something you'd be comfortable sharing a little about today? This type of phrasing gives the client control without avoiding the topic. The social domain covers relationships, family systems, housing, employment, finances, education, community connections, and more. It can often reveal both barriers and strengths that can impact your client's treatment plan. Here are 6 strong social domain questions. Who are the most important people in your life, and what are those relationships like? What is your current living situation? Do you feel safe and stable in your housing? Are you currently employed or in school? And how is that going? Are you experiencing financial stress or difficulty meeting basic needs? Do you have a support network you can rely on during difficult times? Are you involved in any community organizations or activities that are meaningful to you? I've seen a lot of organizations that will frame some of the social domain questions as single select options, which is very reporting friendly. For example, the question, "Are you currently employed?" could be a yes or no. Something like, "Are you experiencing financial stress or difficulty meeting basic needs?" could also be a range, such as every day, once a week, once a month, or occasionally. Framing questions as a selection rather than an open-ended text box, where appropriate, can make it easy for you to report on certain demographics that are important to your funders. The spiritual domain is the 4th dimension. Sometimes this is tucked in with the social dimension, just depending on how your organization does their biopsychosocial assessments. But the spiritual domain is much broader than simply religion. It includes a client's sense of meaning and purpose, their values, their connection to something larger than themselves, and the practices that sustain them. For many clients, this is deeply relevant. For others, it may not resonate at all, and that's fine. Here are 6 strong spiritual domain questions you can use. Do you consider yourself spiritual or religious? What role does faith play in your life? Are you part of a faith community that provides support or connection? What gives your life a sense of meaning or purpose? Have spiritual or religious beliefs been a source of comfort or conflict during hard times? Are there spiritual considerations that should shape how we work together? Next, we'll take a look at how all 4 domains come together in a template. A solid biopsychosocial assessment template has 8 sections. The presenting problem and reason for referral, the biological domain questions, the psychological domain questions, the social domain questions, and the spiritual domain questions. Then a dedicated strengths and protective factors section. The strengths section deserves a specific mention. Research consistently shows that interventions built on existing client capabilities are often more effective and sustainable than those only focused on deficits. Next is the assessment summary and clinical impressions. And 8th is the preliminary treatment recommendations. All of these go together to help you identify what a client is already doing well, what relationships they have, what values drive them, and what types of biological, psychological, or other challenges they may have. This then becomes the foundation of a holistic treatment plan that the client will actually engage with. So now that you have the list of questions for the biopsychosocial assessment and how to format the template, Let me give you a few tips on giving a biopsychosocial assessment that will help you adapt it for each client. First, you want to build rapport. Clients come from different backgrounds. Some may discuss mental health more easily than others. Build rapport before diving into sensitive areas and follow the client's lead. The best biopsychosocial assessments feel like conversations, not interrogations. Create enough safety that the client is willing to share the full picture. Create 2 versions of your assessment for flexibility. You may not always be able to be the one to personally ask the assessment questions to the client, although this is often preferred. As a backup, create a version of your biopsychosocial assessment template that is self-reported. In other words, can be filled out by the client themselves. Usually this one will be a bit shorter than the one that you go through with them. Use a digital version. Digital assessment forms offer a big time savings when it comes to reporting data. You can also set up appropriate questions as a single or multi-select, which makes it faster for you or your client to fill out. And as I mentioned, can drive automated reporting, saving you a lot of time. So now that you know what types of biopsychosocial assessment questions to ask on your form, where can you go to automate your reporting and make the form easy to fill out? Let's talk about efficiency. A software like the Case Management Hub lets you build your biopsychosocial assessments digitally, easily send them to clients, or fill them out yourselves, and provides automated reporting, all in one HIPAA-compliant platform. Just click the link in the description to sign up for a free 21-day trial. No credit card needed. Thanks so much for hanging with me and watching my video. If you like this type of content and want to learn more about social services and nonprofit tools and resources, like this video and subscribe to our channel. You'll never miss one of our new exciting videos.